dog on the tombstone. If you're living underneath the bridge, man, all roads lead to home. I got a hidden flask, I'm paid in cash, got a cross above my bed. You know, I hitchhiked from Chicago, and a man walked up and said, this is a union town, a union town, all down the line. This is a union town, a union town, all down the line. And if you come to strip our rights away, we'll give you hell every time. This is a union town, all down the line. Today the poll.
All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Don't touch that dial. Don't touch that remote control. Don't go water that chia pet. I want you to sit down because it's time for another episode of SEIU Says. We thank you for allowing us in your home once again, and I hope everyone had a magnificent weekend. That's right. This is SEIU Says. I'm your host, Charlie Bonds, and we have a wonderful, beautiful guest here today. Please introduce yourself.
Kyle Zabar.
Okay, SEIU Says is sponsored by GWC, that's Goldberg, Weissman & Cairo, Illinois' largest personal injury and workers' comp law firm. If you have questions on workers' comp, personal injury, or medical malpractice, we ask that you give SEIU Local 73 a phone call, and that phone number is 312-588-7630. That number, once again, is 312-588-7630. All right, I have another announcement to make for everyone out there today in television land. All right, this is calling for all of our employees that work for the city of Chicago, and you are the crossing guards. Attention, there is a union meeting that will be coming up on this Thursday, February the 19th, 2015, from 5:30 p.m. and to 8:30 p.m. And the location of that meeting is going to be at our local, SEIU Local 73, and that address is 300 South Ashland. Also, Ron Emanuel, our mayor, will also be there that evening as well. All right, so if you want to RSVP for this event, and we're asking for the City of Chicago crossing guards. If you're a crossing guard or you know a crossing guard, let the other crossing guards know and come out to this meeting, because this meeting is going to be very important. This meeting will be discussing safety. Come hear what the union has to say about your safety, improving your safety, and issuing out stiffer penalties for people that may cause you harm while you're at work. To RSVP for that event, you want to give us a phone call at 312-588-7630. That number is 312-588-7630, and that is for the meeting. So, once again, I'm happy. I'm very honored to have a wonderful guest here today, in which she is with one of the pop icon. I call it pop icon because that's what it is. It's part of pop culture, because a lot of us wouldn't be here, and you really don't realize how important this news publication really is and how it has shaped not only my life, but so many Chicagoans and so many people in the Midwest. It is known as the Chicago Defender. And we have a caller. This is SEIU Says. Happy Tuesday.
Yes, hello. I wanted to raise a couple of issues, if I might. I was wondering if the union is endorsing a particular candidate in the upcoming mayoral race. And secondly, beyond that, I am privy to a number of the issues because I've had discussions with persons who are crossing guards and raised their issues to me. I'm a public policy analyst by trade and profession, and theirs was a concern in the wake of Chicago school closings with regard to the question of losing their jobs and whatnot. And it was somewhat difficult in that I do recognize that people have concerns over their jobs. At the same time, the job of the city of Chicago is not to provide crossing guards with jobs in lieu of the fact that school closings took place. The first and foremost concern has to be education and where the dollars may best be spent. I certainly don't think that, the concern of the Chicago school system or the mayor's office is one that keeps crossing guards employed, and that was a bit difficult, I know, of a message for people to understand, but I do think that it is a fair critique. So I was wondering what the position is in terms of the SEIU's position in terms of what the crossing guards have to say about these issues.
Okay, well, the mayor definitely is not opposed to crossing guards being employed. So that's not correct right there. The current mayor, Mayor Ron Emanuel. Also, as far as who we're endorsing, SEIU Local 73 has not given an endorsement for the mayor as of now. So you can go visit our website. It's social media time, everyone. That's right. It's social media time. We ask that you go visit our website. That website is www. That's World Wide Web SEIU73.org. That website is www.SEIU73.org. And you can also visit our Facebook page. So our position as far as with the crossing guards is the union's position. You know, it's two words you don't say in the union: layoffs, unemployment. All right, so that's definitely something that we've worked with, and we've worked with the current mayor in getting that resolved. So I hope that does answer your question. And if you are a crossing guard, I encourage you to come out to that meeting. All right. Okay, this is SEIU Says. We have a caller. Happy Tuesday.
Yes, I just called in. At no point did I suggest that Rahm Emanuel is opposed to crossing guards having jobs.
Okay.
Listen very carefully to what I said.
Yeah, you're kind of staticky here.
Expressed a concern in terms of losing jobs because schools were closing.
Okay.
And if schools, so in other words, it is somewhat absurd to contend that crossing guards should retain their positions at schools that no longer have students. Exactly who were they there to serve? So there is a concern among people who have those jobs.
Okay.
That concern obviously is secondary to the needs of children. And if there aren't children at those schools, then obviously crossing guards are necessary. Therefore, layoffs should ensue. So again, what is the position of those persons holding those jobs, their union, with regard to redistributing those jobs at other schools, or how in best they can be assimilated into the other schools? And if, in fact, layoffs need to take place, because obviously with 50 less schools, there are X number of fewer positions for crossing guards. So exactly how should layoffs be equitable?
Okay, so at this time, there is nothing that's been placed on the table as far as layoffs are concerned. And so this particular meeting is basically dealing with the safety, because there was some concerns as whereas some of the crossing guards have been injured on their jobs. So I don't perpetuate a situation, and so at this time there is no response for that as far as any layoffs or any discussions of that as a result of the schools closing down. How these people how the crossing guards be reorged as to be in a position where it's warranted for them to be there. So there is no, our position pretty much, our people need to stay gainfully employed in regards to that. So I'm not foreseeing that coming up. I'm not foreseeing a layoff or anything like that at this time in regards to that.
What would be the position in terms of the safety issue, which was my other point, and that is that currently, there are a great many people in the city of Chicago, many of the mayoral candidates included, who are in opposition to red light cameras, speeding cameras, and the sort of, shall we say, the nickeling and diming of Chicagoans to death in terms of parking and traffic violations that are issued to them. So exactly what specifically are crossing guards looking for in terms of, defensive actions or more aggressive penalties taken against drivers, whereas on the other hand, we don't want to penalize people for honest mistakes in the way that, many of us feel they're being penalized, but with red light cameras, speeding cameras. I do believe if you pile through a school zone at 70 miles an hour, you should be ticketed heavily. But if you don't see the crossing guard, or you don't see the kids because you're obstructed or whatnot,
you don't see the crossing guard.
Ticket, and should that be punitive?
Right. Yeah, so basically what this is, there was an incident about maybe 3 weeks ago where one of the crossing guards actually got hit and they were in the hospital. And so what it is we're discussing their safety. So I don't have a syllabus in front of me as far as A, B, C, D, what this meeting is. So I'm giving you a synopsis of the meeting. And basically it is the safety issue is one. And then two is tougher, penalties will be issued for people that could possibly break these. Break the law when you're endangering someone. So that's one of the agendas that is on the table for this meeting. It is for the crossing guards and their safety. All right. So, and we'll have more updates on that meeting as well. All right. So the Chicago Defender is here. Okay. All right. And you are, as we know, the Chicago Defender. Okay. All right. The Chicago Defender is a historic newspaper, and these are some of the covers from the Chicago Defender. Chicago Defender. the Chicago Defender will be 110 years old, 2015?
Yeah, we're moving fast towards our actual anniversary date, which is May 8th.
Okay, so that's 110 years, established in 1905.
Yes.
And I'm going to show a little. I'm going to show a video real fast. Do we still have that caller on the line? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sorry. This is SEIU Says. This is okay. All right, so we're going to show this video really fast, and it's going to give you a little history on the Defender, and I'm so honored to have them here today. So here we go right now. We're about to show this video. All right, this is 1 second here. All right. Yeah, and so then I would say we're going to give you all their website as well. They have some magazines that have just come out, and it's going to be really nice. So here we go right here, okay? Thank you for tuning in.
Robert S. Abbott began publishing the Chicago Defender newspaper, and Pullman porters that worked the railroad lines helped to quickly spread the paper's circulation across the South. The Chicago Defender reported news which opened the eyes of black people to new prospects and possibilities for a better life. The Defender helped connect underemployed black population in the South with jobs and opportunities here in the North. The newspaper was the catalyst for what is known as the Great Migration. Between 1916 and 1970, over 7 million African Americans left the South and relocated in the North. Many came as a direct result of what they learned by reading the Chicago Defender. During the Great Migration, the black population in Chicago grew from 2% to 33%.
Why does the Negro leave the South? Indeed, you would feel a large part of the answer if you could be on this train.
As soon as I got on that train, I felt free. Sure, I was sitting in the Jim Crow section up front where all the coal and dust rose up. The chugging of the train couldn't hardly keep up with the beating in my heart. I thought it would look like a line of trees with some kind of white marking in it. Then someone said, the bridge ahead is good. We were north now.
All right. So that's a documentary, and it was nominated for a Sundance Film Festival Award. So I think that's really good. All right, and so here is a picture once again of the founder, Robert S. Abbott, and he was a visionary, and he was a gentleman to get the information out. And so we're going to see where the Defender is currently right now, past, present, and future. Okay, this is SEIU. Who am I speaking with today? This is SEIU Says. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yes.
Yeah, when you talk about that, when she got hit by a car, right?
Yes.
Now, when somebody else breaks the law, do they get time? It's like what John Bird did in Two Pieces. When he said that attorney, want to put him in prison, what about that? Is he gonna get more time?
We can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, you know, Two Pieces, the one that killed his wife, right? Hello?
I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's a little better.
Okay, now you know John Bird, right?
Okay.
Now, why they let him out last week? And he did a crime, and then why he didn't get more time than Drew Peterson when he got that attorney to want to put him in prison and throw him through? Huh?
I can't answer. I wasn't part of the investigation. I wasn't on the jury. So unfortunately, I can't give a response.
That's a crime right there.
Okay, but I can't give a good response for that because I was not privy to any of that
I'm
information.
doing a good job.
Okay, thank you very much. Happy Tuesday. All right. Okay. You are very busy. The Defender has a deadline they have to meet.
So are you,
okay. Okay. Y'all want to read the paper tomorrow? I'm going to be honest. They have a deadline, so we're going to finish this interview, okay? Everybody at home? Okay. All right. Okay. What is your title at the Chicago Defender?
I am the executive editor.
Okay, you are the executive editor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so to some of us executive editor impaired, what does the executive at home? What
Well,
does
the
the
one
executive editor
thing
do?
that it doesn't mean, which is a misnomer is that most people think that when you say editor, you're strictly speaking about grammar and spelling, and it's way more than that. First of all, I don't really directly deal with those types of issues. My responsibility is to provide the vision, the editorial vision for the paper, and to make sure that that remains consistent.
Okay.
And also to provide the voice for the paper. So I have a column called E-Notes, yes.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting here today with you because I am that voice.
Thank you very much. And, you know, being editor, one of my pet peeves is you never end a sentence with a preposition. I just want to throw that out there.
Well, technically you don't, but it always depends on what style that you use. And we primarily use AP.
Okay.
And we have some particulars that are uniquely our own. So in keeping with the foundation or the legacy that Robert Abbott Sinsdak, who was the founder, set, we refer to ourselves as the race.
Okay.
Whereas most people are, you know, they at that time they called them Negroes or they called us colored people or what have you. We've since then moved on to become blacks and African Americans.
Because the newspaper never used that term, Negro or colored.
No.
It gave us more lividity, you know, African American.
No, I just said that. We called ourselves the race.
Okay, the race.
Right, the race.
Okay.
And so we utilize the other terms because this is 2015.
Okay.
But in doing so, like one of the rules of our handbook is that you always capitalize black.
Okay.
You know, and we refer to ourselves interchangeably as the race.
Okay, okay. So, how long have you been a journalist?
I've been a journalist all my adult life. So there you have it. Amongst the, you know, other things I've done, I've also been a lecturer, a college, you know, lecturer. I can't say I was ever a professor because I didn't continue, you know, that track. But I have also been a entrepreneur.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that.
And previously to being the executive editor here, I've been, which is a term interchangeably used, the chief, you know.
The chief.
Editor-in-chief.
Okay.
You know, at Alance magazine, which is a national publication.
Okay.
I've also been that at Lifelines, which is another publication, and I was at one time managing editor and then the editor of Indigo, which came out of Chicago as well.
Yeah.
And then I was an editor at Shop Talk and a contributor to many publications.
And these publications are very important to have because what the news does is it navigates the audience, it navigates the reader, and it takes them to a place where they could be privy to information, they could learn things, we can cultivate the culture, we can get people's minds stimulated. And the great thing about this box that you watch us, or you may hear on the radio, or you may even read the publications, is providing you information right then and there. You know, years ago, whoever thought you could find out what's going on in China, what's going on in Africa right now, just from this box. So the news and the media is very, very extremely important, and it ushers people to a place where they can be aware of what's going on and what they can do to make lives even better. So that's very good. So you're good with words, you're skilled with words, you're a journalist.
Well, I just want to interrupt you. One of the, you know, you're talking about the availability of the news and how we receive it. And I mentioned to you earlier, our parent company is called Real Time Media. And we look at that take it very seriously because we want the news to be available to you in real time, which means right now. So as a publication, an iconic newspaper, which is 110 years old, we have taken it to the next level. So we have a digital daily, and you can receive our news platform on various other platforms. You can receive it on your phone. You can get it on your iPad or, you know, what are the other ones called? The different tablets. So it's available, you know, to you so that our youth can be in communication with us. We do continue to print
Yes,
hard copies, because we do have readers that are 101. And they are in touch with us, and we think that's very important. We don't necessarily expect them to necessarily be computer or technologically savvy, but some of them are, so they see that way too.
So the Defender is in print. I want to show you all this. This is one and this is Miss Cookie right here, Miss Cookie from Empire.
No, that's Taraji.
Oh, Taraji, but she plays Cookie.
Yes. No, but I'm making that distinction because one of the things that I didn't want depicted is that we see her as a character, but rather that you see her as the movie star, the actress that she is, and that she plays the role of Cookie. And she does that very well. Yes, this is Taraji that's presented, not Cookie.
Taraji's very good. She's a very good thespian. Okay, so this is a new magazine that is also now an insert that is going to be in the newspaper. Is that correct?
CD magazine, CD. Lots of people wanted to know what that meant. They thought we were going to be reviewing CDs, I suppose. But no, CD is an obvious choice in terms of our brand, Chicago Defender, CD magazine. CD. And I like to tease because it's an arts, culture, entertainment magazine. So CD, of course, when you think of CD, you think of music, you think of art, you think of culture, etc., right? You think of entertainment and lifestyle. CD, you think of certificate of deposit, which is money, wealth, finance. And then you think Chicago Defender, which is news, information, knowledge, power. Because one of the things that I espouse upon all the time is that we're confused, if we think that money is power. Power is knowledge and information. And I tell youth this every day. If you look at all these sci-fi movies where there's the end of the world, everything's destroyed, there are no banks, there's no money. What do you need in that moment to change, transform your circumstance? It's knowledge. How are you going to... I was going to say a mad scientist, but... Well, no. But the mad scientist has knowledge. Right. So it's information. How do you transform your current situation? And it takes knowledge.
Okay. And this is SEIU. We have a caller here.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So I wanted to ask your guest, because I know there's been a lot of chatter about the Johnson Publishing Company decision to really, sell their photo collection and downgrade to a smaller facility, kind of about what the black press is up against in the 21st century and this digital information age. And I kind of just wanted to get your thoughts as an editor of an historic black paper, kind of what that looks like and what you see the future of the black press being.
Well, I can tell you this, and thank you for that very important question. I'm not at Johnson Publishing, and so therefore I'm not privy to what their circumstances are and what they're facing. But as a member of the black press, I do know this, that it has continued, and it continues to be a struggle, as it is for all media outlets at this time. We see newspapers, closing, downsizing everywhere. So our challenge has been, if not greater, certainly the same. The future belongs to us. We have to make the choice what our future is going to be. So what I mean by that is, if you want to hear your voice and see your voice, read your voice in the black press, then you need to support us. That's what people don't get. The paper can't exist if we don't support ourselves. And that's not only the readers, but it's also, black businesses and educators, et cetera, et cetera. So if we really want to be about what we say we're about, then we have to put our money and our action where, we say we are. And all I mean is that Johnson Publishing may be in financial trouble, and it has to do with, I think, with the fact that we haven't supported ourselves on the level that we should. So we need to be there for ourselves, and we're the future. And as far as the archives are, we have archives. We have one of the most significant, African American historical archives, and a day doesn't go by when we receive requests from authors or professors or movie makers, whomever, who would like to use one of our archival photos. And I think that you will have the opportunity to check that out at the Harold Washington Library March 11th, when we open our Journey to Empowerment exhibition featuring a lot of those historical photos.
Okay, absolutely. Well, we'll have you back by then. You'll have to March the 11th, because the Defender is so great. It's so wonderful. The stories are magnificent. It brings people together, communities together. Basically, 30 minutes gives this story no true stories, because basically, unfortunately, it's time for us to go. But what I want you all to know, the Defender is still in print. You can access it online. And what is you guys' website?
www.chicagodefender.com.
Okay, and you can still also get the newspaper as well.
And the newspaper is online once a week, because we're weekly, but we do the digital daily every day.
Okay, digital dailies every day?
Yes.
Okay, so no excuse. All right, so this great iconic legacy will continue to live in our hearts and our minds. Unfortunately, everybody, it's our time to go. Tune in next week, same bat time, same bat channel. I hope you all have a safe weekend at home, and we thank you once again for allowing us in your home. I'm your host, Charlie Bonds, and this is my guest, the executive editor from the Chicago Defender,
Kai Elzabar.
All right, and you all have an excellent weekend. Thank you.